You ever type out a completely honest, real, transparent, needed text post, and then immediately, either just after you hit send or even before you post it, you immediately start second guessing it. You start saying to yourself, well, I don't know. And then you start thinking about how other people will feel. And then the voices of thousands of other people who have told you you're too much. You shouldn't say it that way. You don't really. What does that voice sound like in your head? Does that voice sound like yours, or is there a specific person? Is it like, for example, your ex or one of your older brothers or sisters? Does the voice tell you things, or have you listened and heard that voice for so long that it actually feels like your inner sense? You have convinced yourself. We all do it. I know I do it constantly. I did it literally as I was posting this post, thinking, I don't know, should I say that way? I mean, it's for real because we've had so many situations. And all too often, sadly and unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where that voice in the back of our head, that inner sense of knowing that we have, we think that questioning of something that is just raw and real and totally who we are, that it's off. And we think that voice is our voice checking us. We start transforming our intuition into something else, somebody else's opinion that we now see as our opinion. So what do? We rewrite it. We take out some of the pieces. We add emojis in. We add a LOL at the end of the thing that really just needs to be said. This came to me the other day when I was actually texting with a very close friend of mine. And there was something that needed to be said that was, well, I don't know how else to say it. It was kind of harsh. It was very real and very much needed to be said, but it was a little harsh. Cha, glad to have you here with us. I am in central Kansas, so I live right smack dab in the middle of the U.S. Glad you're here with us. So I'm texting this friend of mine, and we've got a good enough relationship that if I did fumble, and say something wrong in the thing, we could fix it. But oh man, that reminded me of another situation. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. But at the end of it, I added a LOL at the end of it, to kind of try to soften the blow of the thing that really just needed to be said. As a friend, if your friend, if their nose was bleeding, and blood's gushing down their face, and they don't know it for whatever reason, they're in shock or whatever, you would hand them a towel or something and let them, help them with that. And I'm talking real friends. I'm not talking about somebody that you're dissing on the internet. I'm talking about people that you really know. And that same thing should be true for ourselves too. And yet, all too often, it isn't. We add in the emojis. We do all the things to try to soften the blow. And what ends up happening, the thing I was thinking about as I was telling you the other story, is we miss our gut and we end up getting in conversations that are difficult with friends that shouldn't have been difficult because of the way we have began to train ourselves to communicate. And that's so rough. And then we have to go back and go, oh man, no. That is not at all where I am, what I was thinking, or anything in our relationship. And we have to jump right out of that and move into an apology, a reconciliation kind of a situation because we have gotten to the point where we've trained ourselves, our intuition, to be contrary to who we really are. And as we hear those things coming out of us, we feel the offness of them, but we override that. And conversely, when we say the real and the raw and the what it just is us, that feels completely wrong. And we fix it to the point where it's no good. So let me ask you that. What tiny little things that are insignificant, I'm not even talking about, conversations like I've been talking deep stuff with your friends, but just tiny little things. A post on the internet where you're just stating a truth, something that you know to be true, something that you're an expert at. What tiny little things do you second guess, overthink, maybe even way more than you probably should? Do you do that, or am I the only one? I'd love to hear from you. I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. Then until we're together again next time, that you have a great week.